December 15th, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on a 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. The volume was high, but the volatility wasn't that great. It's because I think it's expiration for the December contracts, the December 2025 contracts. So the volume is split between the March 26th, it's the next quarter contract, and the old December 2025 contracts, which if you ever look at the ES volume on a daily chart and you look at what's happening, you're going to notice that the December 25 volume is dropping now, and there's more volume on the March 2026. And it's been happening, I guess, starting about last week, but it's going to accelerate. And by the time it's Friday, which will be the last day of the old contract, most of the trading should be on the March 2026 contracts. And so as a result, you're going to get you get a lot of volume because I keep track of what's happening with volume, but it doesn't translate to a lot of volatility. And usually they go hand in hand. When there's a lot of volume, you get a little bit more setup, more at least price action. But as you can see, there wasn't that much today. I did find a couple of trades, but I only took one. And other than that, as you can see, it looks like kind of like a W pattern. So I'm going to get into trades right now. So the pre-market, you have this big 2 legs up, hits the high, and it starts selling off. Now you have a localized high, which is also the high of day. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long failure right here. But I see this candle and I'm reluctant to take a failure right into this EMA because this EMA hasn't really been reached, since, I mean, you could say it started below and it came back up, but it really hasn't been tested yet. So I'm reluctant to take a failure right here. I need a lower high below the EMA. Ideally on where this candle is, or maybe even this candle, but it never shows up. In the actual first setup I actually do see is it's now currently below the EMA. I drew this yellow down channel when I had these two touches. I actually had a more aggressive channel right here initially. I was thinking something like this or something tighter and color it in. Let's say it's just red for now. Can't seem to get red. There we go. But it broke and tested low and it just kind of kept going. I eventually settled on the yellow one. But the trade here is a localized low. It's a first entry short pullback, second entry short. Second entry short, that's a possible trade. It's the third touch confirmation of this yellow down channel. It is 2 legs up from the bottom up to the EMA, and it's failing to really successfully break through the EMA after this initial attempt. The thing I just was kind of not too excited about is this signal bar is bearish neutral, but it does kind of fit the context of 2 legs up and looks like it's coming back down with enough room to the lows. So I thought it's a possible trade, a little bit too aggressive for me. The prices continue moving down, hits sideways, continues moving down again, and it's fitting this yellow down channel pretty well now. Then hits the low side, confirms the low side, and it pushes up, break, makes one attempt up. And I thought this is a possible second entry short trade. Now, this red down channel doesn't exist until much later when I tried to see if I could touch this one and this one, retouch confirmation, but I didn't really like it. It does fit the low side with 3 touches, pretty much 2 touches as well, but I didn't really like it. I only drew it much later to encapsulate and avoid these overshoots, but I'm going to leave it there for now and just kind of go into discussion here. Just a new low, first entry short, second entry short. I like that the signal bar moved above the previous and then flushed down, closed strongly. It looks like it is 1 leg up, pull back, second leg up, or first entry short, second entry short. Looks like it needs to go back into the yellow down channel to test the low. Decent signal bar, strong close at the end, but I personally wanted a lower high confirmation similar to what happened here. But in this case, it wasn't necessary and it kept going because there was a little bit of concern from me that if this channel widened up on me right here was going to test the high. So I was wondering if this green up channel is going to break and test the high. So I wasn't too sure. So it is a possible trade though. Prices go all the way down, hits the high side. That's where I established this red down channel because I thought maybe we might be trading in this red one that I never colored in. Because in this case, there's no overshoots, but there's no setup as well. Comes all the way down, so I'm going to make this one transparent for now, and then I'm going to color in this one for yellow because it's my thinking process in real time. Now I'm thinking I'm in this yellow down channel trade. Hits the high. There's a first entry long pullback. Technically, I have a second entry long here, but it's below the EMA, made a new low. I'm not that excited about it. Price has hit a localized low. So first entry short pullback. You technically have a second entry short, but it's an inside bar. I'm not that excited about this. It could still be in this orange up channel, which could break and test the high. And it does do that because you have first attempt long, then a second attempt, and this leg does test the high up here. It starts moving sideways, consolidating. Also notice there's a localized low. First entry short pullback, second entry short. I thought this might have been a possible trade, but the thing was, it was a little bit conflicting because I wasn't sure if I was actually in this trading range consolidation. So in real time, I'm thinking I might be running into the EMA as a bounce point. This could be a failed breakout and move right back in. So I was reluctant to try to take a trade right here, even though it is a new low, first entry short, second entry short. I was looking for a lower high, but the lower high kind of shows up here, break of this orange down channel. So actually I should have marked this. And this is hindsight though, so I didn't see this in real time. There's definitely, with the benefit of hindsight, there is a lower high here. Maybe there's a possible trade here because you have break of the orange down channel, needs to test the low. Unfortunate, I didn't mean to do that. Unfortunately, I didn't see it in real time, but in hindsight, yeah, I think there might have been a trade here if I was a little bit more sharp. A lower high here. Hits this triple test consolidation off this possible support area. It's also localized low. Excuse me. I saw a low here, so first entry short pullback, second entry short failure. But the thing that kind of made me a little sketchy was I'm thinking this orange down channel has tested low with this candle. It does look like it's reversing, so it looks like it is a failure. It is a potential triple test, but it did break to the new low. So I decided to call it an actual possible trade because this is a decent signal bar. Context looks good. It's already breaking this orange, has tested the low. It's reversing back. It's bouncing off a potential support area. So it pushes up, localized low. It's a first entry short pullback, second entry short. I call this an almost trade. The reason being is it's the wrong signal bar, but I was thinking, is there a potential, like, could this be a larger range and this could be moving back in? But I'm not that excited that if this was a range, it's missing out on this area here. This is all empty space, and the top of the range would only be defined starting kind of halfway through what eventually was the entire length of this area. So I'm not that excited. If there's at least a couple candles, maybe at least one, poking up to here to match this, then I would have established this as the range, and this might have been considered a possible trade. Pushes up, break of the green up channel, test the high, pushes back down. So I just look to the left, and it just looks a little choppy right now. Plus, price action is kind of slow, despite the fact that I was watching and noticing that the volume was pretty high relative to other days. But that always usually happens on the options rollover during that week. Break of this orange down channel has made one attempt down, made a second attempt down, hits this. I drew this blue line, not really as a trading range, but as a support area to keep an eye on. And you do notice that it does help later because it does have a potential bounce point or support that was respected by the market. Pushes up. Say first entry long pullback, second entry long, no real trade here. It's a little congested. Candles are just kind of pushing within this consolidation area. Not really a range, but it does look like it's kind of bouncing around in what I guess would be a range or consolidation area. I'm going to color it in as red for now. And actually sets up for my one and only trade. So localized low, it's a first entry short pullback, second entry short pushes up and closes back down. I had this drawn as a trend line support. So I had one touch, two touch, kind of a third touch here off this red one. And then I noticed that it matched pretty well on the low side. So I turned it into a channel. And then in real time, I'm noticing I have a new low, first entry short, second entry short. This is also a lower high, but move it out. Lower high, but it's also kind of confirming pretty well the second entry short. Because if one leg up, pull back, second leg up. So it's two legs up, now it's pushing back down. Decent signal bar close. Whether this trading range was in play or not, this is clearly closed outside of it as I've drawn it. So I thought it was a possible trade. And then I entered one tick below this guy to try to save a little bit of room, going for a very conservative 1 point scalp because I thought 2 points is getting close to this potential bounce point. And I was thinking maybe 1.5, but I just really just wanted to just see if I could just scalp out for a quick 1 point, a 1 point profit. And I did. No runner, just took the whole thing off. Entered here, got out here. And as you can see, it would have been good enough for 2 point scalp, but of course you don't know. And I'm playing probability that this could be an actual bounce point. As you can see, it does kind of reverse back up. Pushes back up, breaks of this yellow down channel, flushes back down. It's just kind of ziggy-zaggy and noisy right now. Localized high, you have the first entry long here, second entry long, bad signal bar. You kind of get a lower high here, but there's actually no real setup. It actually just looks like one leg down. You could say there's a break above here, but I saw it more like one leg down. And then it's hard to argue this is a second entry long, so it's like a first entry long pulled back. By the technical count, you could say there's a move higher, but it just looks like one leg down, one leg up. I'm looking for a little bit of the easier setup. Squish this down a little bit. Pushes kind of, there's maybe a break here of the red up channel. That's the high, and it's a little noisy. I did try to see if it would fit a little cleaner right here. It somewhat does test the high, but it really didn't create a setup for me here. Pulls down on this green down channel, and it starts moving up this transparent channel. The reason it's transparent is I didn't bother coloring it in because there's a break here. And I thought, well, if I extend it to something like that, this channel looks silly unless this price actually continued all the way up, staying within this red channel. But you wouldn't have known that till much later. So in real time, I was just playing something a little bit of a tighter channel. There's a breakout here, no real trade that I could see I could take. You can find, and I did find second entries, but context-wise, it was a little ambiguous for me because it looks a little congested right here. So it's a localized high, first entry long pullback. Second entry long, it's not the best signal bar. I'm not a fan of this. EMA is offering no help right now because it's just cutting sideways all the way through. It finally bottoms out here. I mean, you could find a triple test here, but if you try to take a triple test, you wouldn't take it on this candle because it's a terrible signal bar. You wouldn't take it on here because you're going to potentially buy into the high side of the range. And so by the time it pushes out, there's no clear way that I could see to enter this safely. Pushes up, hits a localized high. It's a first entry long pullback. Let me zoom in. You technically have a second entry long here. So it's first entry long pullback, second entry long combined with a new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. I thought there might have been a possible trade here. Unfortunately, I didn't see this fast enough because I thought, or I had in my mind when I glanced at it, that maybe this was just first entry long. So I was actually looking for potentially a second entry long to test the high of this orange up channel. But it could have been seen, if you looked at it differently, as this was the first attempt, pullback, and right here is the second attempt, and it failed. Plus, it is a new low, first entry short, second entry short. Taken in combination with enough room for the EMA, there's probably a possible trade here. And then you do get a lower high here, but I call it an almost trade because I didn't like the way it closed. It did peak up above and flush down. If this signal bar had only closed at the low, it would have been more decisive because it looked like there was an attempt up. If you saw it like I did, be a first entry long pullback, potential second entry long, neglecting this one right here, first entry, second entry, and then everybody got trapped. But unfortunately, the trap wasn't convincing enough because it pushed down on this tick and then recovered. Buyers were able to push it all the way back pretty much to the halfway point. So that gave me, just kind of threw up caution flags for me. Then it pushes down and then kind of moves sideways into the close. Now, unfortunately, this happened very late. This is like during the last minute of the day, but this might have been a possible trade. But I also debate that depending on how you drew it, the way I have it, it looks like there's still enough room to come back down to here. So ideally, if this candle, at least the wick came back, touched this low side and went back up, then I think it is a decent contextual first entry, second entry. But again, it's late in the day, and there was a fail breakout here, so there could have been a fail breakout here. But it's just something I noticed. Probably my mind was wandering. It was late in the day. Definitely my mind was drifting and getting tired. But I for sure was not going to try to take anything during this section because it was already profitable for the day, wasn't going to press my luck. And just looking to the left, from right about where my cursor is to about here, that's supposedly 3-4 hours of trading. And you can see how many candles came out. Very little, despite the fact that the volume is really high. So it just kind of tells me that the other contract of the ES December 2025 is still siphoning away some of the volume because people are probably big institutions, bigger guys than me or something, are rolling their positions over from the previous expiration, which is going to happen this Friday, over to this one. So nothing worth, I guess, trying to scrape out something back here. So hopefully, I think tomorrow, hopefully things pick up a little bit. At least we know more volume is going to shift over to the current March 2026 contract. And so hopefully that will translate to a little bit better setups or at least more setups. So hopefully that was helpful.